This woodland is home to a vast array of organisms. It's home to birds, insects, and many different plant species. But what we're looking for lives on this tree. This is a lichen. There's 18,000 species of these strange organisms, and they live on rocks, plants, and in the soil all around the world. But what are they, and why are they important? There's something very unusual about these organisms, and it's not just because they look a little strange. So to find out more, we talked to an expert.
So a lichen is a symbiotic organism that's composed of the fungus, which makes up the body of the lichen and provides kind of the structure and the environmental control for that organism. And then you have the algae, which is responsible for photosynthesis and provides food for the lichen through that process. And then some lichens also have a third partner, which is a cyanobacteria. And that not only provides food through photosynthesis, but also fixes nitrogen in the form of nitrogen gas from the atmosphere into a form that plants and the fungus itself can utilize for growth.
Symbiosis is an intimate biological union between two organisms. This is essentially a gradient with mutualisms at one end and parasitisms at the other. And so, where do lichens fall? Well, it depends on the lichen.
One of my favorite lichenologists was quoted as saying that lichens are fungi that have discovered agriculture. So some people think that the fungus kind of enslaves the algae and uses it and farms it for food, basically. And that would be more of the view of the parasitism. Whereas there's other examples where it's quite clear that both partners in the relationship are gaining benefit, and that would be more of a mutualism.
Now, looking at lichens, you might not think that they're particularly important in the grand scheme of things. Well, it turns out lichens form key roles in ecosystems around the world. First of all, they provide habitat, food, and shelter for a whole array of other organisms. This could be a bird using lichen for a nesting material, or even a home for a very small organism, like a tardigrade. Lichens also act as pioneer species. By colonizing bare rock and through the chemical weathering from the acids they produce, they actually break down the rock and form a soil base. And they also play a role in nutrient cycling. The cyanobacteria in the lichens fix nitrogen, essentially taking nitrogen from the atmosphere and making it available for plants. And this is of course not forgetting their role in carbon capture. But maybe most interesting of all the roles are as environmental monitors.
Different lichens have different tolerances to air pollution. So some lichens really like nitrogen-rich environment, whereas some lichens are much more sensitive to nutrients in an environment. And so scientists have conducted studies all across the United States. And what they do is they collect data on the number of lichen species and the abundance of lichen species in a given plot, and they know which lichens are indicators of which kind of air quality. And so they can track these plots over large periods of time in large geographical areas and use those lichens as a cheap and effective way to monitor air pollution.
So the next time you're walking through your local green space, take a minute to appreciate these fascinating and vital organisms. If you want to find out more about lichens, we have plenty of links in the description below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Sapien channel.